The text arrived just after the cake was sliced. Locks change. You have no home. It was from my mother. I stare at the blunt message. A single sentence, stripped of punctuation. Around me, party chatter buzzed. Glasses clinked. Laughter bounced between floral centerpieces. Yet all I heard was a heavy, suffocating silence. I didn't answer. I smiled instead. 2 days later, their lawyer rang me, frantic. We need to resolve this right away. Please call back. Turns out, blood had always been thinner than control. I should have seen it coming. The day I started earning more than my brother, my father couldn't meet my gaze anymore. The moment I dared question my mother's so-called sacrifices, she accused me of betrayal. So I played along, the obedient child, the quiet overachiever, always grateful, even as they chipped away at who I was. Then came my grandfather's will. He left everything to me, not out of favoritism. He simply saw the truth for what it was. He'd watched me struggle alone, while they lied, manipulated, and took whatever they could. Before he passed, he secured everything under a trust in my name. Airtight, no loopholes, nothing left for them to split. My childhood home, his land, his investments, the offshore accounts only he and I ever knew about. They discovered it after the funeral. Suddenly, my calls went unanswered. Family dinners? Canceled. My brother whispered to anyone who'd listen that I'd faked documents. My mother insisted I'd twisted a dying man's will. The last time I visited that house, my mother offered me tea in a voice so syrupy it left a bitter taste. I placed my key on the hall table as I left. She locked the door behind me. But I didn't push back. Not yet. I stayed silent while they smeared my name across family chats and whispered gossip. Let them post those veiled Bible verses about greed and dishonor. I let them believe I was hurt, scared, ashamed, because I needed time. I started with my grandfather's accountant, the one who'd safeguarded his assets for decades. His loyalty was to legacy, not bloodlines. He gave me the full picture. Properties in 3 countries, bank accounts across 6, and a single ancient safe deposit box labeled emergency. Next, I went to my grandfather's lawyer, discreet, methodical, a man who valued silence over sentiment. We opened the trust together. Everything checked out, sealed, final, legally sound. And so I devised a plan. 2 weeks before my mother's party, I filed to transfer full ownership of the family estate, mine by right, though paperwork delays had left it under my grandfather's name. 3 days before the party, I met with the property board and finalized the transfer. By sunrise, the title was legally mine. They just didn't know it yet. At the party, I chose a gray outfit, neutral, forgettable. No one asked why I seemed exhausted. No one wondered where I'd been, what I'd built, who I'd become. They had no idea I'd moved into a penthouse 2 months earlier, that I'd tripled my grandfather's portfolio, that my phone wouldn't stop buzzing with deals they couldn't even fathom. To them, I was still the daughter they could corner, dismiss, shut out. So when my mother sent that text, locks changed. You have no home. I knew she declared war. What she didn't know was that she'd already lost. 2 days later, the lawyer called, voice shaking. They tried to list the estate for sale, change the locks, put on the market, but the title is under your name. I let him ramble about legal consequences, potential lawsuits. They'll need to leave immediately, I said, sipping my coffee. He hesitated. Are you sure you want to go through with this? They made that decision for me. I ended the call. There was no need for a dramatic showdown. I sent them official notice. Calm, professional. You're occupying private property you no longer own. You attempted to sell a home that isn't yours. You changed the locks unlawfully. You have 7 days to vacate. Of course, they called. My brother exploded, called me a traitor. My mother sobbed, asked how I could be so cruel, said she was only trying to protect what was rightfully ours. I answered with one word, exactly, and hung up. They left on the 6th day. I installed cameras, hired security, had the entire place deep cleaned. I found my childhood photos box in the garage, marked as trash. I didn't cry. I remodeled. 3 weeks later, I hosted a private dinner in that same house. 6 seats. Real friends. The ones who knew the silent war I'd been fighting. As we raised our glasses, another message from my mother popped up. No subject. You think you've won? You'll regret this someday. I didn't bother replying. Instead, I opened the emergency deposit box my grandfather left me. Inside, old photographs, handwritten letters, and a checkbook bearing his signature. Still valid. On top, a note in his unmistakable scrawl. For when they reveal their true selves, trust yourself. Betrayal doesn't always shout. Sometimes it whispers, year after year, wearing your clothes, kissing your cheeks. But silence isn't surrender. Sometimes silence is a blade. And when the moment comes, don't flail. Strike once. Clean, then walk away.